Someone might want to understand why this shelter is built in this manner. The reasons are very simple. This is what we call a raised goat structure. It is the reason why we do raise the structure is to avoid the interaction between the goats and the droppings, and also to avoid moisture. You know, goats are so sensitive to humidity. They don't like humidity. Now, the reason why we do raise is that we want to avoid the goats to come into contact with the humidity conditions. Because if these humid conditions are allowed to manifest, you are going to have a problem of foot rot, you are going to have a problem of what? Skin infections such as mange, because you are going to have the mange might start breeding in the what? In the droppings that are there. So now we need to encourage farmers across the country, of course across the globe, that they can use the simple materials as we have seen to come up with this kind of infrastructure. For those in low-lying areas, for example, in Muchinga Escarpment and the Gwembe Valley, even the issue of the raised structure is not a problem, because there is no much rainfall in those areas. But in areas where we have quite a lot of rainfall, it is a necessity that this kind of infrastructure is built. Now, when you look at the base here, you have to make sure that only droppings are allowed to drop. Make sure that the gaps are too small so that goats cannot go down through those the spaces. So make sure that only droppings and urine is able to pass. Now, what are the dimensions that you need to consider when you are putting this kind of infrastructure? Of course, from the ground up to the base, supposed to be 1.5 meters. The reason is that someone must be able to go down to collect the manure, and this manure can be used for crop production. You can use this manure into vegetable production. Then the distance between the base and the roof supposed to be about 2 meters. Why am I saying 2 meters? I'm saying 2 meters in the sense that someone should also come and do these management activities very well. Now you can see this was not properly done because I'm not able to stand. I was supposed to be able to stand and hold the goat nicely and do management practices. And the reason why we are also saying the distance between the base and the roof should be high. The temperatures during the dry season, the temperature they do increase. Now, during that time, if the goats are allowed to be in the shelter, meaning they are going to have some discomfort of some kind, because these iron sheets, usually they are very hot. So meaning inside there, it also be hot. So now we have to make sure that the base, between the base and at least 2 meters, and that will give room for goats to have conducive environment inside. And also it will give the farmer enough room to do his management practices, as I said earlier on. So as I said, you can use simple structures, you can use the simple materials to come up with this kind of infrastructure.